They are ultimately responsible for making sure your child's school is offering the best education possible.
But many superintendents are leading systems with schools that are getting a failing grade right now. They're on the failing schools list while pulling in massive salaries that would shock many people.
Tonight, WIAT 42 News anchor Stephen Houck investigates how much money superintendents are making and whether they can justify their hefty salaries.
When it comes to making money in Alabama's education system, superintendent is the job to have. Alabama superintendents make an average of $128,000 a year, with some locally making more than $200,000.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Folks we spoke with were not only surprised to hear about the high salaries, but were upset that superintendents with failing schools were making that kind of cash.
Oh, I think that's terrible. They shouldn't be allowed to get that much money for failing schools.
There is no standard. There's no formula to say that if you have this many students, this is how much a superintendent should be paid.
Tricia Crane is an education advocate who operates the Alabama School Connection website. She says it's surprising how many people don't know what their superintendent actually makes.
When I republish the list of superintendent salaries every year I get board members reaching out to me through email saying, I didn't know our superintendent made that much money. And I'm thinking to myself, how could a board member not know that a superintendent makes that amount of money? But I think in this state, or maybe it's the South, we just don't talk about people's salaries much.
According to the State Department of Education, Dr. Craig Pouncey in Jefferson County is the highest paid superintendent, raking in $228,000 a year.
I think they're really overpaid. Jefferson County is talking about getting rid of some teachers now. And I think it's unfair because they're paying higher wages to other people. If they're going to get rid of anybody, they ought to start at the top instead of the bottom.
I've never been concerned about what a salary meant. It's always been about working with kids and trying to make situations better. So whether it's justified or not, that's for somebody else to determine.
But should that large salary be questioned since his system has Centerpoint High School on the failing schools list?
Anybody who tries to compare the work ethic and the abilities of someone based on the way schools may or may not be properly labeled don't know what they need to know about public education.
The superintendent salary for Birmingham schools, which has 7 on the failing schools list, is $202,000 a year. A permanent replacement for Dr. Craig Witherspoon still hasn't been named. Tuscaloosa City, which has Central High School listed as a failing school, pays their superintendent, Dr. Paul McKendrick, $198,000 annually. He declined my request for an interview or statement. Bessemer School Superintendent, Dr. Fred Prim Jr., makes $135,000 a year, with Bessemer City High School on the failing schools list. He never even responded to my repeated interview requests. Meanwhile, the superintendent of Anniston City Schools, Darren Douthit, makes $132,000 a year, with Anniston Middle listed as a failing school. His official response was, quote, I have a problem with the entire idea and philosophy of schools being called failing schools. Our school is not failing. However, he did not respond to me asking if his salary was justified. Gadsden City School Superintendent Dr. Ed Miller makes $143,000 a year, with Litchfield Middle School on the failing schools list. He gave us a statement which says, in part, though Litchfield was placed on the failing list, LMS has been moving forward and has improved in achievement for the past 3 years. However, he too did not respond to whether his salary was justified.
I think it's fair for a community to understand why a superintendent is being paid that much. What makes her or him that valuable to the system? And how is the board going to hold that superintendent accountable?
An interesting footnote, some school systems are incredibly small, yet their superintendent still takes home a hefty paycheck. The Pike Road School System in Montgomery County pays their superintendent $165,000 a year, yet the entire school system is only one school. So how much money does the superintendent make in your child's school system? Go to WIAT.com for a link to the complete list from every district in Alabama. Stephen Houck, WIAT 42 News, coverage you can count on.